Look, there have been a lot of amazing and incredible pro wrestlers that have come up and worked with so many different companies and organizations over the years in the business. People like Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, Eddie Guerrero, some of the better workers of all time, people on the mic like The Rock and Chris Jericho, Hogan with promos, The Warrior. But in my opinion, there's one wrestler who stands above all of the rest, and it's not The Undertaker, it's not The Rock, it's not Mankind. It's Shawn Michaels. Because to me, Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler of all time. The reason I believe that is because he is the smoothest wrestler in ring that I have ever seen, and I've gotten to witness him in person in many different occasions. Growing up in Philadelphia, I got to see a decent amount of matches. The way that man worked made it forget that you were even watching wrestling. There's sometimes I'll watch a Shawn Michaels match, it kind of just looks like he's floating around. I almost forget what's going on. I almost forget that it's not a movie, that what I'm watching is actually happening. And the look, I mean, he wasn't the tallest guy, but he had the look, the hair, the tights. I always thought, the red with the hearts was always very cool. The Heartbreak Kid, I think, is the coolest name ever, nickname-wise. I tried to make that my AOL screen name back in the day, but it was taken. He had the great mic skills. He had the charisma. Now, obviously, the problems with him were his personal life issues. His issues with, drugs and losing his smile and all that. But that aside, he had everything that you needed to be a champion, and that's why he was a champion. But I don't think there's ever been a smoother in-ring performer ever, and I don't think there ever will be, than Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. And, look, there's people that have come close. I do think Ric Flair is unbelievable. His work speaks for itself. Rob Van Dam doesn't get enough credit for being an incredible wrestler. But having everything is tough. There's guys that, like John Cena, he's not the greatest in-ring wrestler, but he's a great promo. He can sell. He knows what he's doing. He's one of the best performers all around. But you don't watch a John Cena match and think, wow, this is 5 stars. This guy is floating on air. And there's really only one guy that I would say that is right under Shawn Michaels, and that's because I think his promo work was just not as great, and that's Bret Hart. Bret Hart's probably my second favorite wrestler of all time, and when also with me, finishers are great. I mean, the Sweet Chin Music's an incredible finisher, and so is the Sharpshooter. They had both that. Bret had the cool tights. Bret in ring is, in my opinion, number 2. But just sometimes the way Shawn would take those over the rope bumps made it seem like he was the Air Jordan of wrestling. That he was just making it look so effortless. And, technical wise, Bret was a better wrestler, but Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler of all time. Let me know if you agree. If you disagree, let me know who you think is the best wrestler of all time. And subscribe and like the video. Come on. Don't be silly. Do it.